and so they're of a smaller amount. And then the last one that you mentioned is called the HITCHI grant, the Hiring Incentive Training Grant. And that's available to employers when they hire an individual who has been unemployed for 6 months or longer, or is a returning veteran. And that grant provides up to $5,000 per employee, new employee, for training. And they've all been very successful.
And during the press conference, they mentioned that under your direction, the Workforce Training Fund has become a lot more streamlined of a process, easier to get to. I think Senator Brewer even mentioned a couple of years ago, prior to you being Secretary of Labor, that there were no applications from Central Mass. Can you talk a little bit about what you've done to streamline the process, make it easier?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So it actually is one of the things that I'm most proud of in my tenure as Secretary, that we have made the Workforce Training Fund more accessible to employers in a variety of ways. We now have, as I mentioned earlier, consortium applications to help small businesses. We also now have rolling applications. There used to be a fairly rigid deadline for employers, and if you didn't make it, you had to wait for the next round, and we accept applications every day of the year. We also have streamlined the application process to make it easier, and we provide more technical assistance to employers if they are uncertain or have trouble figuring out how to apply. We've also made sure that the grants go to businesses throughout the Commonwealth, not in any one particular geographic area, and in all industries, and we've tried to make it as broad a program as we possibly can.
Well, it's refreshing to see that we're trying to make the process easier for private sector to team up with government.
Yes, it is really a very successful example of public-private partnership, and we are very thrilled that we have so many companies interested, and we're able to train employees to do their jobs better and provide them with more skills for the future, and to make sure that Massachusetts stays current and competes in the global economy.
And just real quick, for an employer who's kind of teetering on the edge, they maybe hear about this program and think, hey, that might be great to go after because we paid through it through the unemployment insurance, like you said. Do you have any advice for them?
Yes, I would say call us, and we will be happy to assist companies. We answer every phone call. We help every employer who's interested. The number they can call is 617-626-7100, and we will direct them to the person who can help them the best.
Well, Secretary Goldstein, thank you for taking a couple of minutes to talk to us today. We appreciate your help, and thank you.
My pleasure. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, that was good. That's a great job interviewing the secretary. It's great that she took a few minutes to talk to us at the working lunch.
Yep. Yeah.
And I know that you have another interview that we did with.
Yeah. So if employers are thinking, hey, I pay into this fund, it might be something I'm interested in. I also did sit down with Michael Deterando, who is the CEO at Incom, which is the employer that hosted us for the press conference,
and a great local manufacturer.
Yeah, and just to get his perspective on it, and have his thoughts on it, pick his brain on it. So
we're joined now by Michael Deterando, the CEO of Incom Inc. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing all right. So, Michael, I'm sorry. Could you tell us how you heard about the Workforce Training Fund?
Well, we have a strong relationship with Mass MEP, who got us involved and introduced us to the Workforce Training Fund and encouraged us that we were a company who could significantly benefit from this fund.
And can you tell us a little bit about how you did benefit from it?
Sure. We trained a significant number of our employees in certain skills that help to advance their ability to manufacture the products that we make. We are a domestic manufacturer but a global supplier, and the challenges are eternal to be able to do things better, faster, quicker, more efficient, and more competitive. So it's really critical for us that we need to continually advance the skill set of our workforce to be able to keep up with the global demand and challenges of global competition.
And with this grant, you were a part of a consortium. So there were 4 other employers that teamed up with Mass MEP and the Workforce Investment Board to carry out this grant. So what were your thoughts on doing it in a consortium model?
We're actually very in favor of doing a consortium model. Anytime you can add critical mass to a program that you're working on, you kind of assure that it has enough basis to be successful and to endure and make sure things go through smoothly. Because as things arise for one company or another, you never know what the economic conditions might be. But when you have a group as big as the one that we have, the training goes very well. You learn new people. You meet new people.
Yeah.
You learn new things. And when you learn concepts that apply to your business, it's very applicable and appropriate. However, also seeing how those concepts apply to maybe somebody else's business helps you get a more fundamental understanding of what it is that you're trying to learn. And so incorporating other companies and other products into the model really, I think, gives a more diverse and well-rounded education.
And you also get a piece of networking, and you get to see kind of a peek into somebody else's shop, their culture, workforce culture.
I'd lie if I said we don't, that we've never stolen little tricks and techniques from some of the companies that we've always gone to see. Every tour I've ever been on, or every company I've ever spoken with, you always learn something clever that they've come up with and ways to solve problems or deal with things that you didn't think of in the past. So it's always a good thing.
And it sounded like it was a big success in the press event. They mentioned that you guys had met your goals that you had set for 2 years in 1 year.
Yeah, it's like anything else. When you set down this path and you invest resources, both time, money, and people resources, you hope that you achieve the goals that you set out to achieve. And the fact that we did it in 1 year really is a testament to the program itself, to the companies that were involved, and to the other organizations that helped facilitate the program as well. So it was definitely a group effort.
And for employers and businesses listening, is this something you would recommend? Is it something that's going to take a lot of time and it's not going to be worth the effort? What do you think?
It's something I highly recommend. It's always challenging. We always try to put budgets together, and there's never a lot of room in a budget to be able to say, let's do some workforce training. The fact that it's matched funds from the state really makes the decision easy to say, yes, okay, this is something that makes a lot of sense for us. It will pay us a return in the long run, and just we need to make the commitment to do it and do it well and continue to advance our workforce. That it's challenging to justify both the time and the money up front, but once you do it and once you've done it, you look back and you say, boy, that was really money well spent.
And it's a real it's easy to see that Incom has really utilized this and believes in this program, because I actually found out today that you guys are applying for another workforce training fund.
We are. The first one has gone so successful for us, and the benefits that we've seen from it go beyond just dollars and cents. Having the ability to continually train our employees and give them higher skills and advanced abilities and to be able to do new things and participate in ways that they hadn't done before really it significantly improves the morale of our organization. And once we tie that all together and we're all going in the same direction, as a company, I'm very pleased that our company has the best morale that I've ever seen. It's very, very high, and our ability to solve problems is better than it's ever been. So it might be hard to pin down the exact value of the program as if I had to put a dollar value on it, but the intrinsic value of the benefits that we've gotten from it are immeasurable and something that are very obvious to anyone who's been inside these walls for 20 years.
Well, Michael, thank you for taking a couple minutes to talk to us today, and also thank you for allowing us into your beautiful facility here and hosting us for the press event. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. We're glad to have you, and we're very proud of our organization and our facility, and we look forward to another successful grant.
Just to kind of wrap it up, a great event held earlier in the week over at Incom to celebrate the success of that consortium project. So another event that we were involved with and that we had talked about last month that we had spotlighted was that there was going to be a screening of Robert Reich's movie Inequality for All. It was set to happen this past week.
Yeah, Patricia was on the show last month.
That's right. Miss Yancey, Patricia Yancey from the NAACP, she's her and the League of Women Voters were putting on that event over at the Worcester Public Library. It had to be rescheduled, however. There were some technical glitches to the movie and getting that set up. So it's tentatively rescheduled for Wednesday, January 17th again at 6 p.m. over at the Worcester Public Library. So it's not confirmed. I believe it's penciled in for that. So.
And our very own Jeff Turgeon is on the speaking panel, I
don't want to
understand?
brag, but they did ask me to be on the panel. Yeah. So, and it's a really interesting. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh,
and so
okay.
part of this is to kind of react to what we see in the movie. The movie's not out yet, but I have seen some of his lectures that are out there on, on the internet, and he's a really amazing economist. Of course, I believe he was the Secretary of Commerce, maybe.
Okay. Who do you know of any other people that are on the panel? Did you get to meet any of them, or know who else might be on the panel?
Well, there's someone from the League of Women Voters. There's a labor representative, and someone else. It kind of escapes me now, but some interesting, kind of a diverse panel there.
Yeah,
So.
sounds like a cool event.
Yeah, it should be. So again, that's January 17th. It looks like it's going to be rescheduled too. Now, I do want to take some time to get to. Want to make sure we have time to get to. We had, as we normally do about this time of the show, some writers come in and seek some advice from us.
Oh yes, yep.
What do we call it?
The mailbag.
The
segment.
mailbag.
So again, listeners and viewers, if you have questions that you'd like us to answer, you can email them to us at theworkinglunch@wcuw.org. And then every show we pick one, or sometimes two, to highlight and answer.
Mhm.
So this month we have one from Jason in North Brookfield. And Jason writes, I have become very frustrated with my job search. I send out my resume and cover letter to apply for jobs, and I never hear anything back.
Very common these days.
Am I doing something wrong? I feel
Mhm.
very frustrated and stressed.
And we get that all the time. It seems like more and more the human element is being
it's
taken
going
out.
away. Yeah.
And part of it too is, in fairness to employers, is, if you're dealing with 120 applicants for a job,
Right.
and especially if you're a smaller organization, you might not have the capacity
to email back
to
something
email
everybody.
back or to mail back or
Call
to
them.
call or
Yeah.
whatever. Just
Yep.
letting them know what their status is, and
Right.
unfortunately, of that 120 applicants, you might be picking out a handful, right,
Right.
to call back for an initial screening or interview. So that means approximately 110
Right.
out of that 120 applicants may never hear anything.
Right. And it's good to highlight that that's something that a job seeker really can't control. They can't control the fact that somebody's not going to be emailing them back for every job they apply
Right.
to.
I think. I mean,
the thing they
this
can
might
control.
be sort of analogous to, there. I forget which movie it is. Where it's like someone meets, like a man meets a woman or meets someone romantically, right? And
Mhm.
and tries to hit it off, and then calls and doesn't get it.
Oh,
calls
right,
again, and
yep,
then calls again,
yep.
and then calls again, right?
Right.
At some point, you're actually pushing them away,
Right.
right? So kind of analogous to that, you don't want to turn an employer off by calling, hey, did you get my application? Where's it at? Where's it at? So there's that tension there, that push and pull. You don't want to be kind of hounding them, right?
Yeah,
Or
and-
seen as someone that's perceived as kind of going over that line. So
And the other thing I noticed about Jason's emails was that he noted a lot that he was frustrated and very stressed. Seemed like he was really having a
that
tough
is
time.
very common.
And I think attitude is a big thing
Mhm.
when applying for a job. You got to keep that positive attitude. I think employers like to see a positive candidate, and I think we at Workforce Central have
Yeah.
recognized that job search can be very stressful. So one of the newer workshops that is being offered is the stress reduction workshop.
which sounds like it might be kind of an extravagance or something, but a lot of the folks that we see at the Career Center, there's financial pressure. There's the if you look at even like health outcomes and the stress of being unemployed
Right.
puts on a family, not just financially but emotionally and relationship wise, and all these stress, right? That kind of. So if we can help them deal with some of that, even just
Right.
some simple things like taking time to breathe
Breathing
and
exercises,
to visualize whatever. And one thing to think about too is while for that job seeker putting in that application or going for that interview or replying to that job posting, maybe one maybe number 106, it might be the 106th time they're doing it, that month or something. for that job and for that employer, that's the first time that's the one and only time they're interacting with you.
Yep.
So you've got to treat each one as the one and only,
Exactly.
and not one out of like 1,000. Oh, I'm doing it again. I'm calling you. I'm putting in my application, because to them it's the one and only.
Yep.
And that's your chance, your opportunity to make a first impression, right?
So if job seekers are interested in that workshop, the stress reduction workshop, or any other workshops that are offered for free at the 3 Workforce Central Career Centers in Worcester, Southbridge, and Milford, they could visit the Career Center. They can also find it online, Workforce Central MA.
And they should know that before you do need to become a member of the Career Center in order to take advantage of the free workshops and the resource room and other guidance and support that you can get there. All the services are offered at no cost, but you do need to go through an orientation, which is free, and then become a member, which again is at no cost to folks. So
it's really
takes a little time to do it.
It's beneficial to go through those steps too as a job seeker, because you learn about all the different workshops and programs that the Career Center offers.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, one of the things that we're looking at is the fact that there's so many services and so many programs and projects happening.
Yep.
That orientation can be a bit overwhelming, quite frankly.
Right.
So
just
how do
too
we
much
simplify
information
it? How do we,
overload.
give them the information in a way that they can kind of process, because there's just so much stuff out there. And of course, some people come with some issues that are more relevant to them.
Yep.
Some parts of that orientation is going to speak to them more than others. So, but we do, want folks to get involved and take advantage of the services that are available at the Career Center for them. And so Dr. Z has given us the high sign. Dr. Z, did you want to take
Looks like
a
he's
station
calling for
break?
a
Did you
a
want to do
fastball
a
over
quick?
No, that's all right. I think we can continue.
Can you give us a little? You're listening to the Working Lunch with that dulcet tones of the.
Oh yes, you're listening to WCUW 91.3 Community Radio right here in Worcester.
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
So actually that
I
brings
can't
up a
see
point.
it.
I was thinking earlier today. We need to come out with some sort of closing. Like thanks for making this, and we all go, "Oh, working lunch." Like some
That's
sort of
pretty good.
closing. Like
Yeah, because we have the opening montage. And
yeah,
stuff.
we have a closing song, but I think
Almost
we need
like a Ron Burgundy State Classy San Diego,
exactly.
that
We
kind of
need
thing.
something like that, a sign off.
But I think today what we'll end with a little seasonal. I think we'll pick Sean's favorite
Wow.
Christmas song to end.
I beat out
Wait a
Jeff's-
minute. Now, Sean and I have been practicing
Jeff's
a new
been
classic. A new classic
Okay.
that we were thinking about doing, but we still have a few minutes, don't we? No, yes.
Yes, we do about that many.
That would be 4, if I've counted fingers correctly.
4.
4 minutes. Sean, any holiday traditions in your family that you think were...
Holiday traditions.
Dr. Z, Jessica? Holiday traditions.
Where's,
Ho-
whoop, go ahead,
Holiday
Dr. Z.
traditions for us, and of course any of the Eastern European Roman Catholics or Orthodox, it's Christmas Eve is what it's all about. And the family and extended family get together Christmas Eve, and
Do you do like midnight mass, or is that part
afterwards.
But-
Afterwards, but prior to that, it's some of the
of it? Do
traditional.
you open gifts, or maybe one gift?
Oh yes, we open gifts and exchange gifts, and we exchange bread and have a toast, and then have a wide variety of foods.
Bob, do you do Vigilia?
Yes, it's called Vilia in some parts of Eastern Europe are Vigilia. Yes, that's
and
what it's called.
that's like Christmas Eve. Is
It's
that-
Christmas Eve. The Italians have their Christmas Eve, in which basically